Hello and welcome, I'm Kiz Scribner, and this is my first video being filmed in my new apartment. I'm very excited. We're also gonna pretend like that's my big bookshelf behind there, and I'm not completely a little bit off-centered. However, I had to move in the pandemic and there was no trucks, so my big bookshelf is being held in trust by my old landlord, thankfully. So, whenever this ends, I'll have a nice big bookshelf behind me again with all my books, because this one does not fit all my books. However, I'm very excited to talk about the books that I am going to be reading in April. It was a little bit late, but I was moving, so I didn't have time to sit down and film before. However, let me talk about some books. I have already read 5 and they were really incredible and I really enjoyed it, and it put me in a mood to read like a lot of like adult contemporary, which is not normally what I read. However, the 5 books I read already were Becoming by Michelle Obama, A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, Albatross by Terry Fallis, Sourdough by Robin Sloan, I don't have the name here, Hammer of Thor by Rick Riordan. So I pretty much loved each and every one of them for different reasons, and I just am very excited to read them books. So the first book doesn't fit this because it was, audiobook and it was pre-requested. However, Frankly in Love by David Yoon. This follows a second generation Korean boy named Frankly, and he is wanting to date this white girl, and his parents are like, if you don't date a Korean girl, we will not accept you in the family. His older sister has already been excommunicated from their family for marrying or dating a black man, and he is very afraid of this, so he goes into the fake dating trope. I'm not loving it so far, however, I'm hoping this will change. My second book is The Last Wish by, I always forget to say his name, it's Witcher, and I'm excited. The TV show began really good for me and then kind of looped into not as great. However, I've heard nothing but great things about the books, and I'm excited to continue and start this short story collection. And then we have The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. This is a book that is an adult science fiction fantasy, and it looks at New York City, that in this world, cities have souls and they have to protect the souls. I don't know much else. I started 5th season last in March and I'm really enjoying it, so I'm really excited to read more of N.K. Jemisin's. She is really intelligent and I love the way that she talks about books, and I'm sure that I'm going to love her thematic works and things like this, so I'm excited to read this. Then we have From the Ashes by Jesse Thistle. This is a book that is a memoir by an Indigenous man who talks about the trauma and addiction and his own experiences through that, from living on the streets into being a scholar, and I'm very excited to be reading this. As well as kind of in conjunction, I have Seven Fallen Feathers by Tanya Talega, and this is a nonfiction history of looking at the Indigenous community in Canada from the 1960s until about 2011, modern times, especially looking through students and the treatment of them, and how that has some hard truths, as well as kind of understanding how we got to here in the mistreatment and how we can hopefully make it better in the future. And then we have Lillian Bofus Takes a Walk, and this is by Kathleen Rooney, and I'm excited. This is my first adult contemporary on this, or adult historical fiction. So she's an 85-year-old woman in 1984, and she decides to take a walk through New York City, and she just meets a bunch of crazy people. We follow her life, kind of going through her eventful life and what happened, and I don't know, it just seems like a weird kind of oddball book, which is kind of what I'm feeling right now. I'm very excited to do it. It's short, it's lovely. And then I have the very first one of my 5 stars predictions on this. I'm very excited. I did a video, it will be linked up there and below, and we can talk about the ones that I'm just so excited and hoping that they're going to be 5 stars. And this one is Normal People by Sally Rooney. And this deals with a couple as their senior year of high school until they grow up and go through college, and they grow up and they grow together and grow up apart and break up and come together. And it's just about finding yourselves and relationships throughout that time and early 20s. And I think it's just going to be completely lovely. And then I have The Last Lecture by Randy Posh. This is a nonfiction about a man who is given his last lecture and kind of what would he say as a professor knowing that he's going to die. I'm pretty sure I have read this. I have a distinct feeling of having this being talked about either in my last year of high school or my first year of college, but both kind of seem out of place, so I'm never sure if I just imagined it. But I probably will be able to figure that out more when I read it. And it's short and it's nonfiction, and I'm very inspired. I don't know, memoirs and adult nonfiction is apparently what I'm feeling like. And then I have House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. This is a retelling of the 12 dancing princesses, and they're all being murdered. It's very atmospheric, kind of fantasy horror. I've heard nothing but really great things, and I'm excited to give it a try. And then we have Motherhood by Sheila Heti. This is about a 39-year-old woman who has never wanted children, and then she turns 39 and she's like, wait, if I'm gonna naturally have kids, I probably have to decide this in the next year. And this kind of makes her rethink about where she is in life, how she's growing up, how she's taking her life, and what she really wants to do. And I think that is interesting and amazing, and it's by a Canadian, and I'm very excited. And then we have Kingdom in the Bag. Oh, I have this book. It is, oh, that's off screen. Anyways, it's sitting there in a pile of books. This is by Marie Lu. It was her newest release, and this is a historical fiction, I think magical realism as well, and this follows Mozart's little sister, or sorry, older sister, who was like a huge like prodigy in music, except for the issue is when she starts puberty, they're like, you're no longer allowed to play, and her history. And Marie Lu has been writing the story and been obsessed with stories since she was a teenager, and is finally having this published, and I am so excited to be able to see this. Do I have any other books? I do have other books, although I do have the Reading Rush kind of mini is coming up, so I'll probably do a TBR for that. Oh, I also have this stack of books, which is like The Little Princess, Shakespeare Sonnets, Great Gatsby, Silvered Serpents, Come Tumbling Down, that I'm in the midst of and are supposed to be coming to. And yeah, those are books that, oh, and Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. There's books, I'm really bad at reading like 8 million books. Oh, and You, which I have been reading for a really long time, and I recently bought this version. I don't normally like having the TV series, but it's Pendagley, so what can I say? We are reading this for our book club in real life that is now an online book club because pandemic. So I'm excited to read this. I am going through the series with my roommate, and it's great to share the series and to like reanalyze the heck out of it. We're almost done season 2, and I'm so great. It's a great series, and I've heard better things about the TV show than the movie, but book. Anyways, I'm excited. Tell me what you're reading. Tell me if you want to like discuss these or talk about them or anything like that. I love talking about books with people, and have a happy day. Happy reading and writing and creating, and I will talk to you very soon.